Here we will see a simplified approach to the management of severe acute malnutrition. Last video we had seen that the criteria for SAM varies in children less than 6 months of age and in children 6 to 59 months of age. We had also seen that while management of failure to thrive is primarily rehabilitative, management of severe acute malnutrition is done in 3 phases, that is stabilization, transition and rehabilitation. अब एक और कॉन्सेप्ट है प्राइमरी वर्सेस सेकेंडरी सैम. प्राइमरी सैम क्या है? दैट इज विच इज ड्यू टू न्यूट्रिशनल और नॉन ऑर्गेनिक कॉजेज. Examples are lack of breastfeeding, improper introduction of complementary feeding, faulty feeding, inadequate diet, low socioeconomic status, and intrafamilial strife and discordance. Secondary SAM is that which is seen secondary to illnesses of other organ systems of the body. That is, the causes are organic or pathological. These are, for example, chronic infections like TB and HIV, congenital heart disease, chronic respiratory diseases, chronic kidney disease, chronic liver disease, malabsorptive states, etc. लेकिन principles of management of either primary or secondary SAM remain the same despite whatever the cause be. Now, the World Health Organization and the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare describe the management of SAM in 10 steps, and usually these are asked in your exam. अगर ध्यान से देखें तो the first 5 steps are related to the management of complications of SAM, and the last 5 steps are related to introduction of diet and supportive management of severe acute malnutrition. लेकिन 10 स्टेप याद रखने से अच्छा है कि we remember only the 3 phases and base our management on that only. So the first phase is the phase of stabilization. What do we stabilize? We stabilize the vitals. That is, we manage the complications. The child recovers the normal metabolic function and there is no weight gain during this phase. This is because severely malnourished children cannot tolerate even the usual amounts of protein and sodium at this stage, or high amounts of fat. See, complications of SAM have been mentioned in different books, different mnemonics have been given, but I think a simplified mnemonic would be altered diets, where altered stands for altered sensorium, D stands for dehydration, I for infections, E for electrolyte disturbances, T for temperature instability, which is usually hypothermia in patients with malnutrition, and S, that is sugar deficiency or hypoglycemia, which is very common in SAM. So we treat the complications, hypoglycemia with dextrose 10% 2 ml per kg in starting feeds as early as possible, hypothermia by active and passive rewarming, which includes the following steps. Management of acute infections requires the early administration of first dose of antibiotics and continuation of the same. As regards vitamin deficiency, vitamin A is the only vitamin deficiency which is treated in the acute phase, since its deficiency leads to the grievous complication of blindness. Dehydration without shock, we give oral fluids. It is important to understand here that we avoid IV rehydration in patients with SAM, since securing an IV cannula puts them at risk of acquiring infection. So dehydration without shock is treated with peroral or nasogastric ORS every 30 minutes for the first 2 hours at the rate of 5 ml per kg, and alternate hours for up to 10 hours at the rate of 5 to 10 ml per kg. But dehydration with shock does require IV rehydration, and you need to secure an IV cannula, draw the samples, and give isotonic crystalloids. Another important point is that these crystalloids should contain dextrose as a component. You may need to add inotropes and vasopressors if required for the management of shock. Now, dyselectrolytemias, which are commonly seen in patients with malnutrition, are hypokalemia, hypomagnesemia, and hypernatremia. So, you manage them, give potassium 3 to 4 MEq per kg per day for at least 2 weeks, 50% max self IM once for 3 days up to maximum of 2 ml. Magnesium is essential for potassium to enter the cells and be retained. For hypernatremia, you need to give restricted salt intake. The second phase is the transition phase. Here we are transitioning, that is moving from the phase of stabilization to the phase of long-term maintenance. It is the phase of regaining the already lost or wasted tissue, and it requires cautious initiation of diet and build up as per the tolerability of the child. See, we need to reduce that diet cautiously because else the patient may land into refeeding syndrome or nutritional recovery syndrome. So, as regards feeding, you must understand that we begin feeding in patients with severe acute malnutrition with liquid diet. So there are two kinds of liquid diets, the F75 and the F100. The F75 is the starter diet, that is the diet with which we begin the feeding in children, and F100 is introduced during the catch-up phase, that is when the patient has already started tolerating the F75 diet properly and in good volume. Here F stands for formula, and F75 means that there are 75 kilocalories in 100 ml of this formula which has been prepared. Similarly, F100 is 100 kilocalories in 100 ml of the formula which is prepared. This is the content and the composition of the F75 diet, and it is of the F100 diet. Now F75, as we had seen, it is a starter diet. You calculate the total fluid requirement. Say it is a 10 kg child, the TFR would be around, the total fluid requirement would be around 1000 ml as per the holiday cigar formula. So you calculate this and you calculate the calorie requirement on day 1 as 100 kilocalorie per kg per day and protein as 1 gram per kg per day. Now divide the entire amount of the fluid or the feed which you have calculated into 8 to 12 feeds to be given over 24 hours. To continue feeding, you increase the calorie and protein intake by 20% each day, so that by day 7 the calorie intake is approximately equivalent to 220 kilocalories per day per kg per day and protein intake is 2.2 gram per kg per day. Like see here, on day 1 we have started with 100 kilocalorie per kg per day of calories and protein 1 gram per kg per day, and we have been increasing by 20% each day, so that by day 7 it becomes around 220 kilocalories per kg per day and protein is 2.2 gram per kg per day. But remember, if at any point of time the child is not able to tolerate at least 80% of the required calorie or protein intake, then you don't proceed to the diet, that is the calorie and the protein intake of the next day. So the children usually should achieve by 7 days, but they may take 10 to 14 days also to reach to 220 kilocalories per kg per day and protein intake of 2.2 gram per kg per day because of different factors. So it is not a hard and fast rule that you must by 7 days be able to feed them with 220 kilocalorie per kg per day of calories and protein 2.2 gram per kg per day. The phase 3 is the phase of rehabilitation. It is the phase of rapid weight gain, and this is achieved through catch-up diet. Now what is catch-up diet? See, in catch-up diet, first of all you change the formula from F75 to F100. For 2 days, you replace the starter formula, that is the F75, with the same amount of the catch-up diet, that is the F100 formula. The next day, increase each feed by 10 ml until some feed remains uneaten. Then you decrease the frequency of feeds. Give only 8 feeds over 24 hours and then you mix the two kinds of diets. The 5 feeds should be of catch-up diet and 3 feeds should be of specially modified family meals. Specially modified family meals means like if we are having dal, khichdi, then we are in the family, then we are going to make it more nutritious and calorie rich by adding ghee or butter in it. Encourage the child to eat as much as possible so that the child can gain weight rapidly. As regards micronutrient supplementation, I had already told you that vitamin A is the only vitamin given in the acute phase, but along with multivitamin supplement, folic acid, zinc and iron needs to be started during the catch-up phase. in the doses recommended. Now see, if a child has presented to you with moderate acute malnutrition or has SAM, but in absence of complications, that is, he is able to tolerate semi-solid or solid diet, then there is no need of giving liquid diet initially. You may straight away start with semi-solid or solid, whatever the child is able to tolerate. Increase the calories and proteins every day gradually and supplement micronutrients daily, but along with weigh the child daily and plot the weight repeatedly. Along with this diet, you also need to give structured play therapy and loving care, which is an essential component of the 10 steps of management of SAM. You must prepare for discharge and follow up by gradually reducing and eventually stopping the feeds of catch-up diet and introducing the family meals completely, treating for helminthic infections with albendazole, providing regular checkups and following up the child for another 4 to 6 months until the child has shown consistent weight gain. Discharge criteria for children is once the edema has resolved and the child has achieved weight gain of at least more than equal to 15%. He has satisfactory weight gain for 3 consecutive days. Now see, poor weight gain is something which is less than 5 gram per kg per day. Moderate weight gain is between 5 to 10 grams per kg per day, and a good weight gain is more than 10 grams per kg per day. So here the child should have started gaining at least more than 5 grams per kg per day. He is eating an adequate amount, infections and other complications have been completely resolved, the child has been given micronutrients, and immunization of the child has also been updated. The mother should know how to prepare and feed the child, give the prescribed medications, make appropriate toys and play with the child, know the home treatment for common infections, and has understood the plan of follow-up. Now, failure to respond is defined by the following 4 criteria. That is, failure to regain appetite by day 4, failure to start losing edema by day 4, and edema continuing to be present by day 10, and failure to gain at least 5 gram per kg per day for 3 successive days after feeding freely on catch-up diet. तो प्राइमरी वर्सेस सेकेंडरी सैम की इम्पोर्टेंस यहाँ है, क्योंकि सेकेंडरी सैम के बच्चों में द क्राइटेरिया फॉर फेलियर टू रिस्पॉन्ड आर लेस stringent because recovery in them ultimately depends upon the treatment and the recovery of the underlying cause. So to summarize, the first phase is the phase of stabilization in which we stabilize the vitals and treat the complications. The second phase is the phase of transition in which we initiate feeding and build the wasted tissues. And the third phase of management of SAM is the rehabilitation phase in which we build up the diet and promote rapid weight gain. Ultimately, we discharge the patient and keep the patient in follow-up. Now, failure to respond may occur during 2 phases, that is the transition phase and during the rehabilitation phase. Whenever a child presents with failure to respond, you must rule out faulty monitoring. For example, किसी दिन वेट एम्प्टी स्टमक ले लिया मॉर्निंग में, किसी दिन उसने नाश्ता कर लिया उसके बाद लिया, and like this large discrepancies in weight monitoring. Faulty preparation of the meals, then some residual infection like helminthic infection and all. And if the child is persistently failing to respond, you must re-rule out all the secondary causes. This is the importance of primary versus secondary SAM. SAM pediatrics exam के लिए तो important है ही. Knowing the simplified way of management of SAM in daily clinical practice also is very important. Thank you for a patient listening.